The Climate Change Eastern Region Town Hall Conference is taking place today at Makueni County. KTN News will be bringing you this discussion this evening from 7:30 p.m. As this discussion takes place, what are some of the issues affecting this region and what are some of the solutions in place? Sand conservation has been a major conversation piece in this county. Let's now join Dennis Aseto, who is currently at a sand dam in Makueni. Aseto, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Grace. And yes, we're coming to you live from Makueni County, as today we plan to have that discussion from the Eastern region on issues to do with climate change and what it is we must do. And where I'm standing on right now is a sand dam. What exactly does a sand dam do? This is one of the measures put in place by the county government to make sure that issues to do with sand harvesting, having water in this region is actually sorted. But this discussion, I think, will be heard by one managing director, that is Mr. Philip Nze, who is the Sand Conservation Managing Director. Will just be taking us through this and what exactly this means to this region. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Philip, and just take us through what it means having this sand dam right here.
Good afternoon. In environmental management, we have construction of sand dams as one of the most important infrastructure that we carry out as a government to ensure we have enough water and we have also enough sand for construction. Of course, we know the authority was created essentially to manage sand and to regulate between the sand for construction and then sand for water for the communities. As you can see from where you're standing, a sand dam is basically just a normal dam, but it is filled with sand instead of being filled with water, as opposed to an earth dam. And within the sand dam, like what you can see here, 70% is water and 30% is sand. So sand traps water. Sometimes here we usually say is the natural tank that God gave us to preserve water for us. So these are water reservoir, and we build this sand dam to conserve this environment. Matters climate change. As you can see, the upper side was at the same level with the lower side, and this place was equally rocky, just like here. It was equally rocky, and we now have it covered with sand. What sand does is that it raises the water table, because now we have raised the bottom of the river, so we have the water now coming up, and when the water comes up, the water table comes up, then it seeps into the neighboring lands. As you can see now, anybody doing irrigation or anybody even without pumping the water just seeps naturally to the sides of the land. So anybody doing conservation or doing any agriculture to produce food, they'll have now enough source of water. Mm-hmm. On the lower side, as opposed, we also intend to keep on damming. At a distance of 100 meters, we put another sand dam. 100 meters, we put another sand dam. So that we can have all these rocks covered by sand, and then we have the water table coming up, so that we're going to ensure people have water around.
So, Philip, if I may just ask you, this sand dam, what is the game changer with this? How do the people take this? How has this changed the lives of people right in Makueni County?
Thank you. First of all, the mode of execution of this sand dam is what we call community participation procurement method, where we involve members of the community during construction of the sand dam. So in this particular sand dam, we had about 200 casuals who are members of the community who come from this area. And from the total budget for the sand dam, which is about 7 million, we took 2.7 million went to the community as labor. They provided labor. And then again, the local materials. The local community also provided the rocks, which we were also using to do the sand dam. And I think for the local members of the community who provided the rocks, we used about 900,000. So we are talking about 3.5 million having gone to the local community, even to help in economic development, also their means of livelihood. We find this a better method of executing projects, as opposed to where you totally give the work to a contractor, where he's going to have like 5 casuals, mm-hmm. and then Of course, that's a form of capital flight because he'll bank the money wherever he banks. But when we are using that community model participation, we have a source of labor coming from the community.
And yes, indeed. Grace, as we come to you back now, these are some of the conversations that we'll be having right here in Makueni County tonight from 7:30 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. Just a conversation on what we must do as a republic, as the community. Because remember, this conversation involves the community. It is community-led discussion on climate change and the actions that we need to put in place. Back to you in studio, Grace.
All right, thank you, Aseto. And from Aseto, we take a short breather here on Africa Speaks, but stay with us for more.